Hello guys, my name is Salam and my presentation is about how to buy a computer or a cell phone. Well, the first thing you should think of is money. How much are you willing to spend for this new toy of yours? Then you can start the shopping process. Mobility and electricity. Well, if you need to use your computer in your room only, then a desktop computer will be your best choice because it will be cheaper and have higher specifications than an equivalent portable one. But if you need to use your computer on the go, so weight and electricity are important to you because when you carry your computer around, so you should choose a lightweighted and a compact one. And you can't expect to have an electricity outlet everywhere you go, so the laptop is the best choice for you. When you choose the laptop, you should think of how much its battery is going to last, because it will affect the other components like screen size. Well, the bigger the screen, the more power it consumes. The hard drive, a mechanical one, uses more power than SSD or a solid state drive, which is electronic. And the video card is another major power consumer. There are video cards not designed for heavy games. They consume less power than the video cards that are designed for gaming. CPU, the brain of the machine. Well, your rule is to search for numbers. The processor speed labeled in gigahertz and the number of cores. Well, the chip speed will tell you how much data it can process in how much time, while the number of cores will act as a multiplier. So, a single core 2 GHz processor is a lot slower than a quad core 2 GHz processor. Now, if you are a multitasker, then go for more cores, as each one can process different data at the same time. Now, the big question, Intel or AMD? Well, let's just say AMD wins on money and Intel wins on specification. Now, we will not get too deep in the specifications of each one, but I'll depend on your needs. If you need your computer to be used for surfing the web, word processing, watching movies, playing solitaire, then you don't have to spend much. Just go for the Core i3 or the Ryzen 3. But if you need more power, like heavier programming or heavier games, then choose the Core i5 or the Ryzen 5. But if you are a heavy gamer or maybe use your computer for virtualization, or you are a designer who need a lot of power to process your work, then you should choose Core i7 or the Ryzen 7. Memory. The higher needs mean higher RAM and of course more money. Having a higher RAM makes your computer able to keep more data close at hand rather than go digging it through the slower hard drive. So it's useful to have more RAM if you want to keep more tasks running at the same time. RAM also has a clock speed, same as the processor. The higher the better, of course, but you should consider the speed of your motherboard, because if you go and buy faster RAM than what your motherboard supports, it will be a waste of money. And if you go and buy slower RAM, then it will degrade the speed of your whole system. Storage, the bag that holds your files. If you have more files, then you need a bigger bag. There are two major types of hard drives. The first one is the newer technology, SSD, which is basically a faster form of a thumb drive. As I said, it's newer technology, less power consumer, faster, but more expensive. The other type is the older HDD, which is a mechanical one. It's essentially metal platters with magnetic coating that stores your data, and a read-write head on an arm that accesses your data while the platters spin in the hard drive enclosure. This one is older technology, slower and more power consumer, but it's cheaper. And there's another thing, you can have a compensation of both technologies by having a smaller SSD to install your operating system on, and a bigger HDD to store your data. Video card. It depends on your gaming habits and whether you are a graphic designer or a video editor. If you are that kind of guy, then you'll need a professional video card like NVIDIA GeForce or AMD Radeon with 4 gigabytes or more. Or maybe you will need more than a single video card. Then you will have to consider buying a motherboard that supports NVIDIA's SLI or AMD's Crossfire technologies to install 2 or more video cards on it. Screen, original or touch. This is the newest major difference for ordinary users. While 4K resolution or 8K resolution is the professionals' interest. Let's just say, for the size issue, choose what suits your eye better. Optical drive. If you need new huge games or ultra high quality movies, then buy a Blu-ray drive. If not, just go and buy a cheaper DVD drive. Motherboard. It is determined by the CPU type mostly. You cannot go and buy an Intel-based motherboard when you are buying an AMD processor, and vice versa. But the most important specifications about motherboards are the bus speed, maximum memory capacity and speed, how many peripherals it can connect to it, and its support for SLI or Crossfire technology. Connectivity. USB, LAN, wireless LAN, Bluetooth, HDMI, and more. Well, having more ports in your computer will give you the ability to connect more devices to it. The most important thing is their speed. Well, as fast as they get, you can get higher performance from the devices that you connect. Now we're going to talk about cell phones. Well, they have more specifications than computers, but we can depend on the earlier information to choose a tablet or a cellular phone. First of all is, just as before, set the money that you want to pay. Now about the processor. Of course, check the speed and the cores. If you are a multitasker, choose a higher cores processor. Um, Octa-core processors are famous these days, but if you're not a multitasker, then aim for the higher frequency. Memory. Here, the classification extends. There's a RAM-like memory for the programs to operate in, which varies from 256 megabytes up to 6 gigabytes these days. And there's a storage-like memory, like a hard drive, to store the data. It's about 256 gigabytes as a maximum these days. And there's another one, which is an expansion memory to increase the overall storage of the device if it has a slot for that memory. And it's about 256 gigabytes these days also. The battery. The more capacity means longer working hours, mostly. Screen. Well, just as before, choose what suits your eye about the size thing and check the multi-touch and the resolution if you're so picky when it comes to screens. GPU. These devices come in bundles, so you cannot change the specification and cannot modify them. Let's just say the higher priced devices tend to have technology GPUs and vice versa. Camera. If you're a photogenic person and you like to go snapping pictures everywhere, then go and pay more for the more expensive megapixels. Connectivity. Do you need a single SIM card or maybe more? Do you need a faster carrier internet, so LTE, or slower GSM? Do you need a faster Bluetooth connectivity, like maybe 4.2 version or higher? Do you need a faster wireless connectivity, so Wi-Fi AC or N is just enough for you? Operating system, iOS or Android? iOS is more powerful, but it restricts you to its terms, while Android is less powerful, but on the other hand, it gives you more freedom. After all, the more, the merrier, and more expensive, of course. Keep that in mind. Before you buy, check the devices that you like to buy, and then go and search for them on the benchmarking websites and YouTube. I hope this was informative for you. Thank you for your time.